All right, folks, it is Monday night. It is time for another live Q&A. And as always, if you're new here, we answer your drone questions for an hour. And you can put them in the chat. Jason is in the back room. Ben is in the back camera right now, making sure everything is good. And yeah, we're kind of excited to have you. We were trying to figure out how many more seconds I can cut out of my day to get on camera here, because I usually get here about, 2 minutes? 2 minutes before the show starts. I think I can cut it, and then I forgot to change my shirt. So then it was more like 1 minute, and then I sat down, I had 45 seconds to go. I think I can cut it down to even more. So next time I'll be here, about 45 seconds before the show starts. So anyways, I just read an article right before coming here. Jason and we were talking. A drone operator charged with violating TFR in area surrounding the NFL game during the Super Bowl of this weekend, of yesterday. Let me see. It said the complaint alleges that the guy, his name, flew the drone as high as approximately 2,300 feet above the ground, which is probably why he got caught. I'm sure there's more than one, but the 2,300 feet could not have helped his case. So appropriate. Maybe I had a few people in the comments last week mentioning that we should send "Don't Be That Guy" shirts to the people that are that guy. Maybe we should send him. Maybe we should start a GoFundMe that we can pull from to send free shirts to people that are that guy. Otherwise, we'll probably go out of business. Otherwise, but if you haven't seen the "Don't Be That Guy" shirt, it is live and available. I don't have one with me right now. But a lot of you have purchased it to the point where our poor mailman, although that's his job and he loves it, but he was here for 20 minutes on Friday. Was it? No, on Thursday. It was on Thursday. He was here for 20 minutes on Thursday because of all of the things that you guys bought. Not here. It was Wednesday morning. He was here for 30 minutes in the parking lot, for 20 minutes in the parking lot, putting all of the shirts into his truck. So yeah, well, we just got another big box of shirts, but Kate has been tremendous with all of this. Kate is the person behind the scene that you don't see, who does all of the hard work of making these shirts and shipping them and taking care of them. So big shout out to Kate if she's watching. But yeah, that's it's been a lot of shirts, like hundreds of shirts being shipped. And it's cool. It's cool to see. And I can't wait to see this. I actually saw one of you. I don't know who it was, but one of you made a comment on the FAA post recently. There was an FAA post about people being that guy that they had fined and all that. And one of you said, as my instructor says, don't be that guy. And then somebody replied and said, yeah, I bought the shirt about this. So that was cool. That was funny to see on an FAA post. All right, let's say hi to a bunch of folks and we will get this party started. Richard is here. Richard Hooker. We have Dave DeVore. We have Just Johnny, 2012, Thorough Inspired. Hike and Fly, Pro Agronomics. Curtis Warren, Alex Blankenship, Stinker 337, Sergio de la Garza. Minot Engineer Drone Services from Boston. We have RJ Squiciorini. I hope I said that correctly. We have Corey, Jim Schlusserman, Drone Tycoon, Mills Tenor, a lot of familiar faces, familiar names. Leo de Cordonas, Drone Eagle, AGP Drone Service, UAG Pilot, Atlantic Aerial Imagery, Air Bear, Shutter Sky, Low Flies, Pank 2085, Appalachian Hillbilly is here. We have Frankie Robertson, Old Deadeye, Brett Patterson, Black Sheep, A1 Drone Aerial. We have Vic, Drone Service Provider Alliance. I'm sure he's going to switch account. He always does that. We have Cloud Camper, Bulldog, Matt, Fire Chief is here as well. Danielle, Danielle Lionel Peltier is here. Flying Brian, Omo 46. We have Ishmael as well. Oop, it just jumped. It always does that as I'm reading the names. Anyways, bunch of folks. I don't want to spend too much of our time today, but we have full schedule already, quite a few questions in here. Also, another good news, we just reached 1 million course enrollment on our platform. This happened at the end of last month, and we just announced it today. 1 million course enrollment. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. 435,000 students last time I checked when I was doing the numbers, and 1 million course enrollments. So thank you all. I know a lot of you that are watching are students, and yeah, it's incredible. It's just hard to fathom the amount of life that we've touched and helped, and it's really cool. So it's we're very proud of that, and we couldn't do it without you. So I really appreciate it for sure. Okay, let's get to the question. RJ says, rules if you want to take pictures of a parade recreationally with a Mini 4 Pro, and rules for the Mavic Air 2 recreationally. So under recreational rules, you cannot fly over people. I'm guessing this is probably why you are asking. No flying over people, no flying over people in moving vehicles. So as far as everything else, the rules are in 49 USC 44809. That's where you'll find them. And they're on the FAA website as well. And yeah, I recommend that you go take a look at those. We have a free course that's called Recreational Flying Made Easy. And that's where you're going to be able to find all of those rules for free. This is a free course that we offer to the community. So I recommend going to take a look at that. But I've seen your name a lot around here, so I think you're familiar with some of the rules. I'm guessing you're asking about, asking about flying over people. What is the best company out there at this time to fly drones to make some side money, like Beast Pilot or Spexy? So I'm always a little bit reluctant to mention these companies because there's more bad than good, let's put it this way. But with that being said, I don't want to give the good companies a bad reputation because they're in that space. So Spexy is one that we do recommend. We've talked to them multiple times. We've had pilots fly their mission, and they seem to be pretty legit. Also, we talked to Drone Bros or Drone Brothers as well. They seem to be taking care of their pilots, offering jobs that are priced not as a race to the bottom, which I think it's important to protect this industry by not mentioning the ones that are doing the race to the bottom. So I would take a look at these two for sure. They're recommended. And yeah. Class E airspace, this is from Drone Tycoon, goes from 1,200 feet AGL to 17,999 MSL unless otherwise specified as correct. If a sectional map shows the faded blue for Class E, is this just Class E filling the gap up to until 17,999? So typically the faded blue, the shaded blue, the vignette as it's called officially, I think, typically identifies areas where that 1,200 feet starts. So if you see that on the map, typically it's because there's an area where it does not start at 1,200 feet AGL. It starts at 14,500. And there's a few places in the country. There used to be far more of them, but there's a few places in the country that have this marking. I can think of one I think it's in Texas, along the coast in Texas. There's a whole section that has this shaded blue line. And yeah, it just means that at that point it starts at 14,500, which is technically the default altitude, but they tell you now on a sectional chart that anywhere and everywhere it starts at 1,200 feet unless otherwise specified. Okay. Question. I hope this helps. Long time no see. This is from TIE Fighter. I got some questions for both drone and private pilot. What tablet do you guys use? I've looked into the iPad mini and iPad Pro small screen. Okay, good question. If you're gonna, as a drone pilot, as big as you can, as a airplane pilot, as small as you can live with. Okay, typically the iPad mini is what people like to use in the airplane because it's like a big phone if you want. I have the size over that. I don't remember what the official size is to use in the airplane. It's the one that's about this wide. I think it's about like what you expect an iPad to be, the normal size, not the 12-inch. I have that at home. I just don't like to take that in the airplane because it's just too much space on my knee and in the cockpit. So somewhere between a mini and a normal size iPad is what I see most people do. I don't like the mini. I think the mini is too small, but I know Tom in our office, he uses the mini. But I think it's just a little bit, I can live with the bigger size. Let's put it this way. So,
Greg, do you know we are currently scripting a YouTube video for iPad comparison?
Oh, we are? I didn't know that.
For the airplane channel.
Oh, there you go.
Well, so look for that.
Well, there you go. If you stick long enough, we'll have a video pretty soon on that. I didn't know the team was working on that, so it's cool. iPad Air, yeah, iPad Air. I think might be the one, Vic. I bought an iPad M1 large, the Pro one, the large one, and it still is so good that I'm not even looking at iPads anymore because that thing, the screen is amazing. The real estate on it to work is awesome when I need to use the iPad. And I have a secondary iPad here at work for when I fly that has ForeFlight on it. And yeah, so I haven't looked at iPads, so I don't even know what models they offer anymore. But I know the Pro is the big one, and I know the Mini is the very small one. But yeah, I don't know what the normal one is called. The Air probably makes sense. I'm confused over Category 1 drones. Well, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people. Being able to fly over lots of people. Advisory Circular 107-2A 5.8 states, sustained flights are prohibited for Cat 1, 2 unless 89.110 and 81.115 are met. So 89, anything under Part 89 is remote ID. So you can do, think about, I know why this is confusing. Basically what the rule says is you need to have remote ID in order to fly over people, to do sustained flights over people, even with a Category 1 drone. Now you're going to say, isn't remote ID required for all the drones all the time under Part 107? And yes, you would be correct. But this regulation came out before remote ID was mandatory. There was that little period of time where remote ID was kind of proposed and flying over people was changed. And right during that time, remote ID wasn't mandatory for everyone yet. So what the FAA said is, if you have a Category 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, I think maybe, and you want to fly over people, you need to have also remote ID. It becomes a moot point now that we all can fly, we all need to have remote ID, but you have to understand where the regulation came from, I guess. So yes, I can see why this is confusing. I wish we would have a cleanup of that regulation. It's several years old now, and we can probably remove the mention of remote ID because it's required anyway. But yeah, you got it. Requested LAANC recreational flight in Class Delta near Falcon Field at 9 p.m. LAANC said airport is closed, airspace is uncontrolled, proceed with caution, possible activity. Permission. You don't need permission in this case. So what happens is, I didn't realize Falcon Field turned into Class Golf? That doesn't make sense. I guess it does. So it becomes uncontrolled airspace where you don't need to have approval, essentially. And so you can go fly with caution, as it mentions, because there's still a lot of activity, especially Falcon Field, which is a very, very busy airspace here in Arizona. So, yep. Flying Elvis says, greetings from Las Vegas. Do DJI change altitude limit recently? Yes, they did. It was a while back, but there's no more geofencing, if that's what you want to call it. When flying a mountain near me this weekend, I was unable to raise the altitude above 394 feet. Okay, that doesn't make sense. I heard people complain about the 400-foot limit on some drones, but it was outside the United States. So I'm surprised that you see this here. Maybe somebody else in the chat can chime in if they've had this experience as well. But last I heard, I think it was in the UK, they were having this issue. Make sure that nothing has changed in your settings, that it's not limited in the settings. The Neo 2, I haven't flown the Neo 2 very high. I've flown it behind me, chasing me as I was running, but I haven't flown it very high. So I don't know if this one has a limitation because it's such a small drone. It could be that there's a limitation in software, but I haven't tested that one. I'm not sure 100%. Okay. Next. What can you tell me about Part 108? A lot, but here's what I'm going to say about Part 108. Part 108 right now is at the proposed stage. There's no final regulation. It came out in September. I'm losing my months now, but I think it was in September. The FAA came up with the proposal, and then now they're working on the final regulation. So for now, we don't know what Part 108 is going to look like. We can guess based on the proposed regulation, but there could be a lot of changes. I hope, as a matter of fact, that there are a lot of changes to Part 108. So Part 108 is designed to operate drones beyond visual line of sight. At the moment, if it goes as proposed, it's not going to be a good thing for our industry. It's going to be good for drone delivery, and that's about it. And so I hope there are changes. We have 2 videos on the YouTube channel about Part 108, so I recommend that you go check those out, where we go in depth about what the proposal is. Again, keep in mind this is only a proposal. Things can change. So, but yeah, it would be extremely limiting because there would not be a pathway for Part 107 pilots to fly manually beyond visual line of sight. That's as succinct as I can make it as far as Part 108. Okay. Do you think there are any roles left for the Phantom 4 Pro? As a matter of fact, I do. I think the Phantom 4 Pro is a great platform that's still very much, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it's a platform that's still very valid today. It still takes great pictures as long as you can find batteries for it. That's the biggest thing, I think, as this drone ages. But yeah, it was a workhorse, probably the most popular DJI drone. I don't know if that's true, but I know that the people that have flown it and used it for a long time, I think the drone was well ahead of its time and kind of built DJI's reputation over the years. So yeah, still a great platform. And I would definitely recommend the V2 version. There's a V1 and a V2. If you can find a V2 with batteries that are pretty fresh, then yeah, go for it. It's a good platform for pretty cheap. Can you fly from an unoccupied moving autonomous vehicle? Can you fly from an unoccupied... Oh, can you fly over an unoccupied moving autonomous vehicle? Yes, you can. Thank you for correcting. Yes, you can. The FAA regulation does not talk about moving vehicles. It talks about people in moving vehicles. So, for example, I like to use the train example. If you have a freight train, only the engine in the front has people in it, technically, unless they're catching a ride illegally in the back. But typically, those freight trains don't have people in cars. And so you'd be able to fly over the train, but not over the car. So over the rest of the train. But if you have a vehicle with a person in it, then you cannot fly over the people in moving vehicle. So I understand category 1 and 2 can hover over open air assembly. 3 and 4 can transition over them. Can Cat 3 hover over humans if not open air assembly? What about Cat 4? Cat 4, very specific. Quite frankly, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to go look at the regulation again, because it's not something that I use every day. And the category 3, so hover over human being if not an open air assembly. I don't think there's any hover allowed under category 3, but I would have to go back. Maybe Jason can be my cheat sheet and go take a look at I have a cheat sheet that I use, by the way, for this. It's available in the course, and it has kind of all the scenarios in it, and then you can just read it. But top of my head, I'm not going to lie, I don't remember, because it's not something that I look at every day. Because there's like 1 or 2 category 3 aircraft total, I think. So, but yeah, maybe Jason can chime in. He's in the back room with access to the data. Do you plan an opening merge sale to a resident of Canada? Oh, do you plan opening? The difficulty, I'll tell you, as we are looking deeper into merch stuff, shipping is so damn expensive, and so we're trying our best to make shipping as cheap as possible. But at the end of the day, once you go international, shipping is just insane. And so what we try to do typically is include shipping, an average shipping cost, into our things. So for some of you, we actually eat up the cost if you live far away from us, and for some of you that are closer, we don't. And so it evens out eventually. But if you live internationally, it's a lot harder to ship at a decent rate. I was just talking to somebody else about this today. They were telling me that they don't offer shipping outside. So unfortunately, no. Mostly also because most of our students are in the United States. So yeah, it's a difficult one for that. We could add an additional shipping fee for foreign countries, but we would have to see what that looks like on our side. I need to talk to Kate about it. But yeah, tough one. Tough one for sure. Okay, next up. Using an iPad, what type of mounting bracket do you use? Are you using it to monitor as a monitor only? I'm guessing, so Fire Chief, so I'm guessing for drones you're asking. Category 3, okay, I'm going to go back to what we said earlier about the category 3. So category 3, not unless it is a closed area with restricted access. So even the hover, I guess, is okay. But people need to be notified in a closed area with restricted access. So yeah, which makes sense. Okay, iPad and mounting bracket depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm using it, well, we don't really use it with drones anymore. We used to when there was no like controller that had a screen in it. We used to put it mounted like on the Inspire, for example. It was really nice to have that, a big view. But iPads and iPhones overheat outside, and especially when they're being used heavily, like when you use drones. So I don't recommend that at all. But yeah. So in the airplane, I use it on my knee pad, on my knee. I have a little holder that kind of pinches the iPad. And then I use it to take notes when the controller gives you instructions. I use it for flight so I can see other traffic. I can do all my planning and all my flying. So yeah, I use it a ton in the airplane for sure. I think Jason mentioned difference in shipping. Average $5 for the US would be $25 to Canada. So it's not always possible to, and it wouldn't make sense economically either, probably for the user to do that. So yeah, shipping is a big bummer. Shipping an item like a shirt, for example, $5 to $10 on average to ship a shirt across the country, which is crazy. So yeah. And I don't even want to talk about bigger items. I bought a big countertop, not a butcher block, 1.5 inches thick and then 4 feet by 2 feet, and I get shipped by USPS or UPS. I cannot imagine how much that cost. Of the price that I paid for this, I want to know how much of that was actually shipping. Because yeah, it's insane. So Oh, for shirts, $5. Yeah, yeah, $5. I think the average is $7 for the shirts that we calculated. $25 for Canada. Yeah, that makes sense. For landing pad, 35. Yeah, because it's a little bit heavier. Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, when you pay as much for the shirt as you do for shipping, it's tough. It's tough. Okay. Next up, are they ever going to change flying at parks? So it depends on where you live. Those are all local regulation or local rules that you're faced when you go to parks. But the FAA doesn't have restrictions on flying at parks. So depending on the state that you live in and depending on the city that you live in, there may or may be more or less restriction. Here in Prescott, we don't have limitations on flying at parks. But I know a lot of folks email us from California, from New York, typically have a ton of regulation on flying. But that's the difference between living in a bigger city, I think, and living more where we are, which is more remote.
What about like state parks, Greg? Because I was flying over the weekend. There's Dead Horse State Park in Cottonwood.
Yes,
and they do have the regulations.
State parks depend on the state. National parks, definitely no flying. Oh, maybe that's what you're talking about, national parks. You just said parks, but national parks, I don't think that's ever going to change. There's been limitations on aircraft flying over national parks for years. And so, yeah, I would say probably no chance. Apps where people can track the drone while in flight goes alongside flying during the parade. Drone Scanner? Yeah, I remembered. Drone Scanner is one of the apps that you can use to track drones while they're in flight if the drone is broadcasting and if you have the right equipment, which is a lot of ifs. For me, I cannot track half of the drones that are flying because I don't have the proper equipment. But yeah. Are you attending Buckeye this weekend? Yes, I am. I probably will only be there on Friday, but the team will be there on Saturday, Sunday for sure. This is something that we have to finalize today, actually, or tomorrow. But yes, we will have a presence at the Buckeye Air Show this weekend in Buckeye, Arizona. What is the new ice restriction about not flying 3,000 feet from ice operation? It's not just ice. Ice is included, but it's not just ice. It's DOD, Department of Energy, and Department of Homeland Security operations and units, mobile units. Would this NOTAM TFR be added to platforms such as Aloft in real time? There's no way to add it to Aloft because Aloft doesn't know where these mobile units are, and neither do you. And that's the big critique that we had, or criticism that we had on this. And we've been told by the FAA help desk that they are working on updating the NOTAM. It hasn't been done because this weekend was the TFR, and a lot of folks that are this weekend was the TFR, the Super Bowl. Is that what it's called? The soccer bowl, the football. This weekend was the Super Bowl, so a lot of folks that are involved with this were at the event, and then the FAA was on partial shutdown earlier in the week, so that's why we haven't seen an update just yet. But I heard that it's coming. So, but yes, it's a tough situation because drone pilots are not able to find out where those TFRs are, and neither can anybody else except the ones that are involved, which they usually won't tell you that they're doing an operation. So yeah, it's. I understand you can fly over humans with non-category 1 and 2 aircraft if involved in your operation. Is the client who hire you part of the operation? Nope. This has been asked multiple times by, and the FAA has been clear on this. Part of the operation means that they have a role in your operation. So if you're filming a couple for their wedding and you're flying over them, they're not part of the operation. So what's the timeline on further coordination from LAANC usually? Depends on where you are in the country. The FAA, I don't know if they still say that, but they used to say at least submit your request 90 days in advance because it can take up to 90 days. It's a lot better than that now, but I don't know that there's an actual average because it depends on the facility. But from what we hear, it's fairly quick, aka a few days. It depends, again, on where you are. Reoccurring theme is the concern about batteries. Do you know what is preventing a third party from reverse engineering and manufacturing batteries? For the Phantom 4, I'm guessing you're talking about. There's no reason why they can't. But DJI has smart batteries, so you would have to find the code that allows them to be recognized as a legit battery, which I'm sure is not easy. It's probably proprietary. And then the other thing is demand. So you would want to make sure if you're a battery manufacturer that there's enough demand for you to get into that business, if that makes sense. We have a few festivals where Main Street is closed and lined with tents side by side. Can I fly above the tent as long as I don't overfly anyone outside of them? Yes. Yep. That would be a structure which qualifies. Again, as long as you're a Part 107. It's a big important. You have to be Part 107 to. Well, no, I'm sorry. I take this back. Since you're not flying over people, you don't need to be 107. I'll take that back. When applying for a waiver, do you have to include specific location details for each potential location? For example, recording footage at multiple events throughout the county requires OOP. Yes, OOP, typically that's not always true. You can get like a wider waiver. I know Vic has one. I think we have one for specific conditions, but it depends on how you write it, and it depends on what you're looking for specifically. So that's the answer. It depends, unfortunately. Next question. We're running low on questions, so if you have questions, put them in there. We still have a half hour to go. Once I get my Part 107, can I still fly in the recreational regime? Yes, you can. Before you take off, you decide what rules you want to follow. Before you take off, you cannot change in the middle of the flight. So if you say, I want to fly recreationally, as long as you have your trust certificate and you follow all of the rules under 49 USC 44809, then you are good. And if you want to fly under Part 107, you just declare, I declare that I'm flying under Part 107, and you're good to go. So, yeah. Flying Elvis says, I have Part 107, which means I have remote ID modules for drones that don't have remote ID built in. Yep, that is correct. If I chose to fly my sub 250 gram drone recreationally, do I still need to keep the module on the drone for that flight? We just had a discussion with Vic today. My interpretation is that because the drone is registered, then you need to continue flying it with the module on top of it. Okay. Any more questions? Put them in there. Don't buy cheap batteries. Don't be that guy. I do agree with that statement. I have said that multiple times. Non-OEM batteries scare me because DJI spends a lot of time on R&D, or every drone manufacturer spends a lot of time on R&D and know what works and spend time and money on their battery. That's why they're expensive, and I know they work. So I wouldn't, that and propellers, I don't trust anybody else but OEM. What are you planning on doing at the air show? Typically at the air show, what I do is I stand there and look pretty. And it doesn't always work. Not always able to do that. No, I usually talk to customers, potential customers, future customers, existing customers, and people come over, take pictures, and ask questions about what we do, and it's good stuff. So I don't ever get to see the air show. I don't know. We're going to be indoors for this one, so I don't know what we're going to be able to do and see. But these shows go very quickly because we're so busy typically at the booth that it just goes like that. So yeah, it's typically what we do. What do you think of life-saving droning? Is this recreational? Life-saving droning. Maybe you're talking about search and rescue or anything like that. That's not recreational. Recreational is very, 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 very limited. Recreational is literally you flying for your own enjoyment at the park, and that's kind of recreational. At the park or anywhere else, I'm saying at the park, but anything that's outside of just you flying for yourself is no longer recreational, and that's under 107. So life-saving stuff. Now, if you're in a situation where you're flying around for fun and somebody's drowning, you're definitely going to be using your drone to help with that, and that's okay. That's part of an emergency. That's what it's called. But yeah. Can I fly over myself and spotter and stay out of trouble? Yes, you are. That's part of the operation. So your spotter or your visual observer, whatever you want to call it, that would be legal. Can a DJI Phantom 3 use a camera from the Phantom 4? Nope. There's no interchangeable payloads on the Phantom series, so you would not be able to switch. Okay, where can I get props for the Mavic 4 Pro, and how can I get info on using the RC4 Pro Creator internal video making? I have not used the Creator internal video making. I'm actually not even sure what that is. In the RC? As far as props, did you check? I'm sure you checked the DJI website. Is there a shortage on propellers? Because multiple people have been asking for that. Yeah, search B&H and all the other ones that are selling drone stuff and see if they have them. But yeah, that's a good question. We've never had to buy additional props for our drones, which is kind of funny. Like we don't break drones, we don't break props. So we've changed props, but we never had to buy extra. So I'm not sure. Maybe people can chime in the comments. Where do I find the FAA night flying training? There's I know. Well, yeah, this goes back to a long. I'm guessing you're talking about a line in a regulation that says that drone pilots have to be trained on night training now. This happened years and years ago. This is again one of those regulation that has come out from a transition period where drone pilots were not taught night flying stuff, and then the regulation changed, and then everybody needed to do it. Not something that you have to worry about necessarily. So like our course, for example, has night training in it. We added it as soon as the FAA required it. And then we even created a training course on FAAsafety.gov. But if you do the recurrent training with the FAA ALC 677 on the FAA safety website, after you get Part 107 certified, after 2 years, then you'll meet that requirement. This is how people did it back in the days. If you take the exam today to get Part 107 certified, that counts as your night training, if that makes any sense. It's kind of a weird thing. They just added a bunch of stuff about night training, and they had to find a way to get people to do that. And so they added it to the recurrent training, if that makes any sense. How many times can you recharge batteries? Depends on a lot of things. There's just so many factors. Like, do you recharge them as soon as you stop flying and they're still hot? That's going to lower your battery life. Do you keep them on the charger all the time? That's going to affect the battery life. Do you yeah, there's just a lot of different things that can affect it. So there's not a single number. As I stated before, I would think that flying recreational is the preferable way to fly because the AMA has insurance with its membership. No, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. It's far more confusing to fly under recreational rules because there is this whole you have to pick a CBO and follow their guidelines kind of thing. You have more limitations to do that. The insurance thing is available to anybody who flies under Part 107. So I cannot agree with that. What is the best way to preserve my batteries during prolonged periods of non-use? If you have smart batteries like the DJI ones, I would let them do their thing. And then every once in a while, you can put them on a charger and, and run them through a cycle. But they're designed to go into hibernation mode and to do all that if needed. We had a lot of icy roads over the county that the county couldn't get to. Would it be possible for Agras drone pilot, that's a very large drone, to salt and kitty litter the road for the county, blocking on each end, of course? Yes, but I don't know that that's a very efficient way of doing it. You have line of sight issues. You have, if it was for a small, short, private road that nobody gets to, then I would say yes. But otherwise, probably not, would be my guess.
Is kitty litter, is that a thing?
That's what I was actually wondering too. And not only that, but is it also like, is it something that like people, I don't know, is it like...
Does it attract cats?
No, does the price of kitty litter actually go up because because now they're using it for doing this? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we don't live in a place where we have to actually do that. So yeah. Anyways, good stuff. All right, what else do we have for questions here? Next. Hello all, any advice when studying for Part 107? Yeah, take our course. That's really your best bet. This is what we do. We do this for a living. We train a quarter of all remote pilots in the United States. And yeah, trust us. We guarantee that you pass the exam. It's a cheap investment. And I would definitely recommend it. I purchased the Part 107 course, signed on with a Windows 7 computer, but the quiz won't load. Can I just switch to Windows 10 at no extra cost? That's on you. I don't know what the rules are for upgrading your Windows. My guess is if you're using the wrong operating system, then not operating system, the web browser. If you're still using like Internet Explorer or something like that, it does not work on Internet Explorer. And I don't know what Windows 7 has. I'm not a Windows guy, but that's typically the issues that we find is older computers have older browsers and it just doesn't work with older browsers. So what's your opinion of the Autel EVO Max? So far, from what I've seen, great platform. Yeah, no issues with it. I think it's just another option in addition to DJI if you don't want to buy DJI. But okay, next. Will there ever be a growing market for an independent drone business to do contract delivery for other local businesses? I wondered about that. That's kind of an interesting idea. Like, people that can't really buy their own drone to do drone delivery, why not go and use contracted to somebody else? I don't know. I'm still not sold on the idea of drones for delivery, but call me old school maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work. You have any recommendation for what company to use for RTK? Take a look at our friend at RTK USA. That's our friend Jared. He started that. He's got solutions for things that you can do with RTK. So yeah, go take a look at him and see what he says. Okay, I know Potensic was at CES last month. Interesting. It's been a while since we've seen real drone companies at CES. I went to CES a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, and Autel was the only company at CES. Even DJI wasn't at CES, which is amazing for how big the drone space is. Oh no, and then Sony was there with the Alpha. No, not Alpha. What is it called? Airpeak. And yeah. So yeah. Anyways, sorry. Back to the video, to the question. So, what other reports from the show for drones? Yeah, that's really it. I don't think it's really a show where you're going to see a lot of drone stuff. Actually, our friend Ken used to go to CES all the time, and then year after year, it was just fewer and fewer drones. And so I think he stopped going. I haven't heard that he's gone there in a while. We shall see. Oh, would you please elaborate on your fear of flying in helicopters? Yeah, my biggest problem is that every day I get drone and airplane news from multiple sources. So I see everything that happens in this country and the world typically, as far as accidents and good things and bad things. And I just do not trust the technology with helicopters. And this is not an irrational fear. This is a fear that is based on statistics and the fact that helicopters are known to be dangerous machines that fly or try to fly in the air. And if I were in my 20s and I was single with no family, I would probably do it. I've jumped out of perfectly good airplane multiple times, many times, doing skydiving, and I really enjoy that. That was fun. Good rush of adrenaline. And I've ridden motorcycles with my brother, not myself personally, but my brother is a motorcycle rider, or was a motorcycle rider. Doesn't do it anymore because of the same reason. But it's not an irrational fear. It's just I don't want to die. I do not want to be involved in helicopter accidents, and they happen almost daily. And these are just not machines that are designed to fly in the air. They fight to fly in the air. And I just don't want to do that. So call me crazy, but
What? Tell them why an airplane is safer.
Oh, airplanes are safer because, well, statistically, first. Second, they will glide if you lose the engine. And you can tell me all you want that helicopters will auto-rotate to the ground, but sometimes they lose parts in flight because they shake and then the tail rotor comes off, and it doesn't matter how much you want to glide to the ground. It's not going to glide to the ground. So you have way more time with an airplane to glide. First off, I don't fly, other than for landing and taking off, I don't fly any lower than 1,000 feet above the ground, which gives me enough time to do something if my engine dies. Most of the time I'm 2,000 feet above the ground, which gives me twice the amount of time to glide somewhere. And you just don't have that with helicopters. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not telling you to not do it. I'm just, I have responsibilities in life. I have employees. I have a business. I have you guys. I have, did I say a family? And I want to be here for the long term. So, risks. I don't take unnecessary risk, which is what I teach people. Do not take unnecessary risk. And to me, a helicopter ride is an unnecessary risk. So there you have it. Call me crazy. Helicopters beat the air into submission. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And okay, I'll do one more thing and then we'll move on away from helicopters. we've just recorded a course on how to become a helicopter pilot. And I've watched the entire course. I don't teach it. I teach a portion of it, which is the non-air helicopter related stuff. But seeing the explanation of how those things fly and the instructor saying that these things don't want to fly, and that is perfect. Helicopters beat the air into submission is the perfect definition of how little helicopters actually want to fly in general. So anyways, thanks for asking. Is Autel still coming in the consumer space? Nope. Was going to buy their cheaper thermal drone. I think Autel is done in this country the same way that DJI is done in this country because of the limitations that have been put on them. And they weren't interested in the consumer space before that happened. So definitely not anymore. Do you think at some point the FAA will require everyone to have their Part 107? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason to change the recreational rules at the moment. I mean, there are, I'm sure, reasons, but this recreational exemption came out of a lot of lobbying from the AMA at the time. I haven't heard from the AMA really on anything. I felt like they fell off the surface of the planet. But I don't think there is any risk associated with having recreational flyers. As a matter of fact, I think it's good that we do not require everyone to have a Part 107. Granted, take it. This is from the guy who makes a living off of selling 107 classes. I don't believe it needs to be for everyone. Could the rules have been made better? Yes, absolutely. But yeah, here we are. Have you heard anything more about DJI suing the United States for banning them? I have not. I've not heard much from DJI lately, so nope, I don't know. Very confusing for Part 107, under 250 gram, which is the right registration? The aircraft, the module, or both need to be registered. So you are going to, if your aircraft does not have remote ID, which is more than likely under 250 grams, you are attaching the module to the registration, the module serial number to the registration. Do you think the FAA is listening to drone operators when it comes to the regulation? Do you think the FAA is listening to drone? Yeah, well, yeah. Or more so the politicians who want to dictate what they want in regulation? So I don't think politicians necessarily are involved in what the FAA does when thinking of your local state senator or whatever it is. I do believe the FAA listens to lobbyists way too much compared to drone operators. So to answer your question, do you think the FAA is listening to drone operators? Yes, I do. Do you think they're listening to politicians? I would cross that and replace it with lobbyists who want to dictate what they want in regulation. So yes. And that second one is not a good thing. There's no lobbying organization out there that is in it for you. You that is watching, there's nobody out there that is lobbying to represent you. There are people that are fighting for you, not enough of them, but as far as lobbying, you are not involved in this, unfortunately. So prove me wrong. I'm like that guy that has the sign. Prove me wrong. Any word on a USA-made drone domestic use? Nope. No. To our biggest dismay, there is currently no US-based drone manufacturer that has shown interest in creating a drone. I did make a comment on one of Free Flight's posts, which I like Free Flight a lot. I think they're an amazing company, US-made, US-based, based in Washington State actually, and near Seattle, and they have a great product, but it's not for everyone. It's a larger drone. They have two different, multiple models, but a very large drone that's going to carry a bigger camera, a bigger payload, do help with drone delivery and things like that. And then they have a slightly smaller platform, which is still very big and still pretty expensive for the average user. And they had made a comment. They had posted something, and I made a comment because I know some folks on the team over there. And I said, when are you guys coming up with, a mini version of this for recreational users? And they said it was coming soon. So I hope that this is correct, because of all the companies that are out there that I would trust to create a product that is made in the United States, that is reliable, and that is going to perform. FreeFly is one of them, one of the very few. And so I hope that they do. They have a beautiful facility. They've been bootstrapped from the get-go, and so I have a lot of respect for that. And they create a great product. So it would be amazing to see that coming out of them. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but we shall see. Have you seen anything about the 2026 TSA upgrade to CT scans with AI? No, I have not. I'd like to see more of that. Really shutting down lithium batteries. They can't shut down lithium batteries. Everything has lithium batteries. Yeah, send us more information. Okay, we've got 4 more minutes. Do you have a list of set questions you potentially ask a client when on a one-on-one call? If so, what are those questions? For example, like where's the video going to be shot at, for blah, blah, blah. We have some documentation available in the premium community for folks that are looking to create a contract with a potential client. But as far as those questions, that's something that you're going to build over time with your clients. But no, I don't think we have one. I would actually recommend that you go on your favorite AI agent and ask questions. It's going to give you some good tips probably on some of the things you can ask. Even if you're probably going to remove half of them, it's still a good way to start. I have a request at my day job from the government facility we work at to do a tower survey, but we are in DCTFR. Yep, 107 operators. Is it worth trying to get a waiver? I mean, yeah, you can, absolutely. You're going to have to be careful what kind of drone you use, because if it's a government facility, they're probably not going to want you to use a non-NDA compliant drone. So I would take a look at that. I cannot see my strobe light at 2,000 feet at night. Is there a special strobe light for drones that are visible from 3 statute miles? Yes, if you're using the lights that are on the drone, they're not designed to be visible from 3 statute miles. You can buy a bunch of them. We like the Arc 5 light. I don't know why. I don't know what it is in my brain that I cannot remember brand names. Even the ones that we work with all the time, even the ones that sometimes I know the CEOs for, I cannot remember the brand name. So the Arc 5 is from Firehouse. I had to type it up. And we've been recommending this light for ages, years and years and years. As a matter of fact, I meet with the CEO on a regular basis when we go to trade shows when he's there. And he always tells us that he appreciates that we recommend the light. But yeah, Firehouse Arc 5. But if any of you are doctors, why is my brain not good at remembering brands? I cannot remember software name. I cannot remember just brands in general. It's just so bad. So bad. Things that I use every day sometimes. Not every day, but like on a regular basis. Anyways, that's it. That's all we got. It is almost 5 o'clock. Let me see. Do I have one more question? I don't see one. I lost the chat. But if you want that shirt, make sure Kate stays busy. We're going to put a link somewhere. I'm sure we already have in the chat. And then get your Don't Be That Guy shirt. Wear it proudly. Wear it around the Super Bowl. It's too late now, but that would have saved somebody some trouble because they're going to be in trouble. We'll be back on Friday for news updates. We'll have a full listing of everything that happened this week. And then in the meantime, we appreciate you being here. And Cloud Camper says chemtrails. We'll keep that question for next week. That's a passionate thing of mine. And then, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.